Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we unravel the mysteries lurking in the shadows and explore the stories that send shivers down your spine. From unsolved crimes to paranormal encounters, from eerie legends to the unknown, we're here to take you on a journey into the unexplained. Every story has layers, and every layer brings us closer to the truth or deeper into the mystery. So grab a seat, turn down the lights, and get ready to dive into the unknown. This is the Deep Dive.
Okay, so you sent over this stack of articles about the Great Pyramid of Giza, and I gotta be honest, at first, I was like, really? Another deep dive on the pyramids? What else is there to uncover? But digging into this stuff, there's something here. There's a lot more to this story than just, tombs and pharaohs.
Yeah, it's easy to get stuck in that same old narrative. But what if the Great Pyramid wasn't just a tomb? What if it was something way, way more technologically advanced than we ever thought possible?
See, that's what I'm really curious about. This whole idea that the ancient Egyptians, they might have had knowledge, technology that rivals, maybe even surpasses our own. But before we go full on, like Indiana Jones here, let's back up a bit. Let's talk about what we think we know. I mean, for centuries, the Great Pyramid, it's been this iconic symbol of ancient Egypt. Right?
Absolutely. And, it's incredible when you think about the sheer scale of this project. The foundation alone, it covers an area of 7 Manhattan blocks, and it's almost perfectly aligned with true north. Talk about engineering. It's really a testament to their abilities, even by today's standards.
Yeah, no, totally. But for the longest time, everyone thought the pyramids, they were built with slave labor, right? Thousands of people just toiling away under this brutal sun. But these articles you sent, they paint a bit of a different picture, don't they?
They really do. Recent archaeology, especially digs at a site called Wadi El Jarf, they've uncovered these papyri, other evidence, and it suggests that the builders, they were actually skilled laborers. They got paid for their work. They even had a whole city built near the pyramid, bakeries, living quarters, even a garbage dump.
A garbage dump. Isn't that like an archaeologist's dream? What can we learn from, well, their trash?
Oh, you would be amazed. By studying the contents of these ancient landfills, archaeologists can actually piece together these really specific details about, the builders' daily lives. For example, we found that these workers, they were eating almost 300 grams of meat every single day. That's more protein than a lot of people eat today.
Wow. So much for that image of, exhausted slaves. Sounds like they were treated more like valued craftsmen, which, makes sense when you think about how complex this whole thing was. But, even with skilled labor, the engineering, it's mind-blowing. How did they lift those massive stones into place? They didn't have cranes and construction equipment back then.
That's a question that's puzzled, everybody, historians, engineers, for centuries. Think about it. The average stone used to build the pyramid, 2.5 tons, some of them. 80 tons.
I can't even imagine trying to move something that big, let alone lift it, stories into the air.
Exactly. There are tons of theories about this, but one of the most popular ones is that they use a system of ramps, levers, rollers, and a ton of manpower.
Yeah.
Picture this massive earthen ramp built around the pyramid. And as the pyramid gets taller, the ramp slopes upward.
So they're hauling these gigantic stones up a giant ramp. That still sounds absolutely backbreaking, even with skilled labor.
Oh, without a doubt. It would have been this massive undertaking. It would take an incredibly precise coordination, not to mention just raw strength.
Yeah.
And don't forget, they had to get these stones from quarries that were sometimes hundreds of miles away. So they were using sleds, rollers, boats, anything to move these things, floating them down the Nile whenever they could.
It's incredible. When you think about the logistics of a project like that, it just shows how determined they were to get this done. But let's talk about the inside of the pyramid for a minute. Everyone's heard of the king's chamber. But what about all those weird shafts and chambers that are inside the structure? Was that just for ventilation, or is there more to it?
Well, that's where things start to get really, really interesting. For years, archaeologists, they just thought those shafts, they were just for ventilation, nothing more. But there's a growing number of researchers who think they served a much, much more fascinating purpose. Take the shafts leading up to the queen's chamber. They actually contain traces of chemicals. And when these chemicals are combined, they can create this really volatile reaction, a reaction that produces hydrogen gas.
Hydrogen gas. Okay, hold on. Why would they be trying to make hydrogen gas inside a pyramid?
Well, some researchers, and Christopher Dunn's a big proponent of this, believe this was all part of a system. And that system was designed to generate electricity.
Wait. You're saying the ancient Egyptians, they had electricity. Okay, that's a bold claim. Electricity, huh? It's a theory, but walk me through this.
Okay, so the materials in the pyramid, especially the granite. It has these, what are called piezoelectric properties.
Okay, now you're just using big words to sound smart. Piez what?
Basically, piezoelectricity means that certain materials, like quartz, they can actually generate an electrical charge when they're squeezed or, compressed.
So you're saying like the weight of those massive granite blocks, all that pressure, it could create some kind of electrical current.
Exactly.
Okay, but what were they doing with all this electricity? I mean, powering their chariots.
Well, that's the million-dollar question, right?
Yeah.
But there's this theory, and it connects the pyramids to the work of, well, Nikola Tesla.
Hold on. Tesla, as in like the inventor Tesla.
The one and only.
Whoa, okay. Pyramids and Tesla. Now we're really going deep down the rabbit hole here. So what's the connection?
So Tesla, he was obsessed with this idea of wireless energy transmission. Remember that whole Wardenclyffe Tower thing? He was trying to beam energy through the air, right? He believed that the Earth, the planet itself, vibrated at a certain frequency. And if you could, tap into that frequency, you could transmit energy wirelessly anywhere on Earth.
Okay, so what? You're saying like the pyramids with their like precise geometry and placement, they were designed to tap into this earth energy.
It's wild, right? And it gets even weirder. You know how the Great Pyramid is almost perfectly aligned to true north?
Yeah.
Well, true north, that just happens to be the direction of the Earth's magnetic field lines.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got a structure that could theoretically generate electricity. And it's lined up perfectly with the Earth's magnetic field, which, based on Tesla's work, could mean wireless energy transmission. That's a lot of coincidences, don't you think?
It really makes you think, doesn't it? But if the ancient Egyptians really were messing around with this kind of advanced tech, what happened to it? Where did it all go?
I mean, some people think, right, that there was some kind of like massive disaster, a cataclysmic event wiped out this whole advanced civilization, and all that's left are these clues, just hints of what they once knew. Others think that knowledge, it wasn't lost, it was hidden, passed down through like secret societies, or just, lost to time, buried in the sand.
It's a total mystery.
Yeah.
But it really gets you thinking, doesn't it? It makes you question everything you thought you knew about history.
It really does. And it's not just the Great Pyramid, is it? I mean, you look around the world, there are all these other megalithic sites. Stonehenge, Pumapunku, those underwater ruins off the coast of Japan, Yonaguni. All these places, they shared these really strange similarities with the pyramids. Massive stones, super precise alignments, engineering that just doesn't make sense for the time period.
Exactly. It's almost like all these structures, they were part of this like global network or something, built by a civilization that predates like everything we know about history.
A civilization that had technology, knowledge that was like light years ahead of anything we thought possible.
That's the theory, at least. Authors like Graham Hancock, they talk about this idea that there was this super advanced civilization, thousands of years ago, maybe even before the last ice age, and they knew how to like harness the Earth's energy. They built these structures, the pyramids, these other sites to like tap into that power.
It's a really cool idea, but where's the proof? If the civilization was so advanced, what happened to them? Why haven't we found more evidence?
I mean, that's the big question, right? Some researchers, they think the evidence is out there, buried under centuries of like sediment, erosion, waiting to be discovered. Others, they think we've been looking at the clues all wrong. Like, we're so stuck in our own ideas about history, we can't even see what's right in front of us.
It's like trying to solve a puzzle, but half the pieces are missing, and you don't even have the box to know what the picture is supposed to be.
Exactly. But even with those missing pieces, it's a puzzle that people are still trying to solve. The Great Pyramid, those other ancient mysteries, they capture our imagination. They remind us that we don't know everything. There's still so much out there to learn about our planet, about the civilizations that came before us.
It really makes you wonder what else is out there, right? Like buried under the sands of time, or maybe hidden in plain sight. Speaking of hidden, some of these articles mention something called the Dark Pyramid. What is that?
Ah, yes, the Dark Pyramid. That's a story that's been floating around, those conspiracy circles for years. And, I mean, is there any solid proof? No.
Yeah.
But it's a cool story, Ray.
So, okay, what's the story?
Well, the gist is that there's this other pyramid. Could be even bigger than the Great Pyramid, way more technologically advanced. And it's hidden somewhere in Alaska.
Hold on. A hidden pyramid in Alaska. Okay, now this sounds like an X-Files episode.
Right. So the story goes, it's this mix of like anecdotal stuff, people claiming they saw something, plus these weird geological anomalies that, nobody can really explain.
Like what? Give me some details.
Okay, so there's this guy, Doug Mushler. He used to be in military intelligence. And he claims he saw these, like, classified documents, right? And these documents, they showed a pyramid-shaped structure. And guess where? Denali National Park.
Denali. Isn't that like super remote? Pretty hard to get to.
Exactly. Which makes the whole thing even more mysterious. Mushel says that this one particular area in the park, it's marked on official maps as, like, not surveyed. Like they're hiding something, right?
Interesting. So has anyone actually gone to look for this thing, this dark pyramid?
A few expeditions, yeah. But nothing concrete yet. I mean, the Alaskan wilderness is no joke. Trying to find something specific out there?
Yeah.
Like finding a needle in a haystack.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, too bad we can't just pull it up on Google Earth or something. Okay, let's say we could find it, this dark pyramid. Why would it be connected to, this ancient civilization we've been talking about?
Well, some people think that this dark pyramid, if it's real, right, it's part of this, like, network, a global network of ancient structures, all built with this, like, crazy advanced technology, knowledge that, we've just totally lost. They point to the fact that you find pyramids all over the world, and they're often aligned with, like, certain constellations, these energy lines.
So you're saying, like, these pyramids from Giza to Alaska, they were all part of some kind of master plan, a global energy grid. That's pretty out there.
It is. But hey, if we've learned anything from all this, from digging into the Great Pyramid and everything, it's that sometimes the wildest ideas, they end up being the ones that are closest to the truth.
That's a good point. So where does this all leave us? I mean, what if there really was this advanced civilization, thousands of years ago? People who knew things about technology, about energy, things that we're just now starting to understand. Shouldn't we be doing everything we can to figure out, like, what they knew?
Absolutely. I mean, studying the past, it's not just about digging up old artifacts and, learning about dead empires. It's about understanding ourselves, where we come from, what we're capable of. And I think the Great Pyramid, these ancient mysteries, they show us that the human story, it's a lot more complicated, a lot more incredible than we ever thought.
It really is. And who knows, maybe there are even more incredible discoveries just waiting for us to find them if we're brave enough to ask the questions. And to be open to the possibility that we don't know everything. Well, this deep dive has given us all a lot to think about, that's for sure. And to you, our listeners, don't stop here. Keep digging into this stuff. Do your own research. And most importantly, keep an open mind. The truth, as they say, is out there. Thanks for coming along with us on this journey. Until next time, keep those deep dive requests coming.
And that's a wrap for this episode of The Deep Dive. I hope you enjoyed today's exploration into today's mystery, and that it gave you some valuable insights to think about. If you found this episode helpful, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to stay updated on all our future deep dives. As always, thanks for diving deep with us today. Stay curious, stay informed, and we'll see you next time on The Deep Dive.